Okay, let's talk about High Roller and what's it about? How many guitar tracks? Guys like to give me a hard time. So this was a whole bunch of firsts for me personally, and for us, right? We had done covers, which were fun, and I engineered those. I had some interest in engineering, and I briefly worked in a recording studio in Virginia in the early 2000s, so that was really helpful. I had some concept as to what I was doing. But we knew we wouldn't release the covers, so there really wasn't any pressure, right? I just wanted to make it sound great for us, but it wasn't a huge deal when we were doing the covers. So once we committed to writing our own songs, then this first song was potentially going to make or break the concept, right? Could we actually do this? So there was a good bit of pressure as we tried to stick with it and find our process. And we also had 3 decades of storing up ideas. We had to figure out what we wanted to say as a band, knowing it would hopefully make it out into the world eventually. But thankfully, Ed is a professional writer.
Time and again I try to write a song just for you.
Right, and he knew how to gently nudge us in the right direction. So he brought us the spark of the idea for High Roller, and we crawled uphill from there. But it was just so slow. But we did not get dissuaded, right? We had weeks and weeks of hammering it away at it until we got it finally firmed up. So because it was so protracted, I had weeks and weeks of time to noodle around with guitar parts and trying to find the guitar hook to drive the song. So I built up a session in Logic. I use Logic, and I had for all the cover songs, and I had just started adding guitar parts, a track to see what would stick, just noodling with different ideas. So the guys love to tease me about this, and rightfully so. But in the end, I basically had a guitar symphony because there was so many tracks of things that I put in there, and I didn't delete any, right? So the final session had like over 200 tracks total, and there was at least 20 tracks that were guitars. I mean, it was insane and impossible to mix. So we sent the stems to our poor, unfortunate, awesome hired engineer to mix this song, but he had no idea what to do with all that. There was no way. I mean, nobody could, right? So, and we weren't standing in the room with him to mix the song, and we couldn't make producer type decisions. So basically we're just emailing back and forth with him, and it just couldn't be done because it was too big. So I ended up engineering the song myself, and it took me forever to mix it because I had to get to a place that is very intuitive now, I will say, after all this time. But at the time, it was really difficult for me to decide which of my, beautiful handcrafted guitar tracks were going to get cut. These were my babies, so surely I could find a way to keep them all. Well, no. So eventually I saw the light and started to hit delete, which opened up the song a lot, and then we actually had room for vocals after that. So, and did I mention that it was my first lead vocal performance on BOSSaNoBUS tunes? So scary stuff, but it was a bunch of firsts for us, and the stakes were high, except not really.